Every work environment should have safety measures. Working in an office that deals with cybersecurity and sensitive or classified information requires employees to be especially aware of workplace security. Outsider threats are external to the business. These include government-funded hackers, organized crime groups, cyber espionage and cyber warfare, and hacktivists. Motivations for outside threats include financial gain and access to sensitive or classified information. Insider threats come from inside the business and can be malicious or unintentional. Malicious insiders turn against the company for political, financial, or emotional reasons. Unintentional insider threats occur when convenience, lack of knowledge, or lost technology causes a security risk. There are classic signs that can be used to identify a malicious insider, although the presence of one or two signs does not necessarily point to malicious intent. Any suspicion of malicious activity should be reported to the company's security officer. Here are some of the signs. Copying classified or proprietary documents without legitimate cause, working unusual odd hours, or remotely accessing the network if that is a typical behavior, sudden interest in projects or information they have no need to know or that do not pertain to their work. Signs of addiction to alcohol or drugs, argumentative or hostile behavior, illegal activity, financial difficulties, gambling, making large purchases, or suddenly receiving a large sum of money for an unknown reason, contacting foreign nationals, or traveling to other countries without reporting it. Personally identifiable information is anything that can be used to locate, identify, or contact an individual and is therefore important to protect. This includes full name, home address, social security number, telephone number, online nicknames, birthplace and date, credit card numbers, and genetic information. Every employee should understand personal security to ensure the protection of a client's personally identifiable information and company proprietary information. Security starts at the workstation. Here are some measures you can take to ensure that you are reducing security risks. Antivirus software cannot catch everything. Use a full security suite and make sure it is active and running. Make sure all software is updated at least weekly. This includes operating systems, applications, and security suites. Lock your computer when you leave it unattended. Make sure your phone is password protected if you use it for work. Do not plug random USB drives into your computer. Back up any important data and do not let anyone else borrow your system. Do not leave confidential documents or badges unattended. Do not write passwords down or share them. Be sure to use a complex password. You have trouble remembering passwords, use KeePass. Using a default password or an easy-to-guess password like user, admin, or password123 is a huge security risk, as is using any information that an attacker would easily find on social media linked to you, such as the name of a pet, maiden names, sports teams, and family members. A passphrase such as the kind suggested in this XKCD comic is both easier to remember and harder to hack than the kind of password that is usually recommended today. If you are required to change your password frequently, make sure your new password is unique so that anyone with your old password could not easily guess your new one. Social engineering is the act of exploiting human psychology instead of technological weaknesses. They prey on people's desire to be helpful, their tendency to overshare corporate information on social media, their dislike of inconvenience, and their forgetfulness when busy with something else. It is important to always be cautious and alert. Some forms of social engineering are impersonating an employee, leaving infected USB drives in public places, offering download links to free music or movies which are actually malware, posing as technical support, attempting to enter an office behind another person who is authorized to enter, and phishing. Phishing is the malicious attempt to acquire information over email by posing as a trusted sender. This can put employee login information and other confidential information at risk. All employees should be able to recognize the signs and types of phishing and understand what to do with a malicious email. The different types of phishing are differentiated by the amount of effort the attacker spends to profile the target before sending the malicious email. Deceptive phishing is any attempt to pose as a legitimate entity to convince users to reveal their login information. Often, these emails scare the user with urgency and threats. Spear phishing is a more personalized attack targeting a specific individual. Attackers learn as much about their target as possible from social media and any other information available on the internet in order to appear more authentic. This is one reason why employees should not post sensitive personal or corporate information online. The term for a spear phishing attempt on a high-level executive like a CEO is whaling. This gives attackers access to large amounts of company information, the ability to impersonate that executive, and the ability to steal company money. Even CEOs need to participate in security awareness training. Here are some of the phishing red flags. A public email address such as gmail.com instead of a company email address, an attachment which could be malware, a sense of urgency, spelling and grammar errors, links to misspelled domain names or unfamiliar sites. Hovering over a link will show you its true address. If you don't recognize it, don't click it. A cybersecurity breach in a company can cause loss of company reputation, loss of proprietary information, exposure of client information, and risks damage to company assets. It would be best if every company had a strong cybersecurity policy, but even if this is not the case, you can personally contribute to reducing vulnerabilities.